Have you ever stood up at a networking event, given your elevator pitch, and then seen confused faces staring back at you? Or maybe like so many coaches and consultants, you've tried to sound creative and ended up getting applause, but not clients. What if I told you there's a simple formula to change all that? A way to turn confusion into clarity and applause into action. Let me introduce you to brand chips. Welcome to the Establish Yourself podcast, your guide to elevating your brand, offers, and systems as a coach, consultant, or service provider. I'm Annie Franceschi of Greatest Story Creative. I'm a brand strategist, author, former Disney storyteller, and forever Muppet fan. If you're ready for next level success, we'll get clear on your brand, package your process, and streamline your systems so you can land quality clients, boost profit, and make time for big dreams in your business and beyond. If you're ready for less confusion and more magic, it's time to establish yourself. One of the biggest things I see when I talk to coaches and consultants is nearly everybody I meet is worried about their elevator pitch. Many of them want that really snappy, creative, super compelling pitch. I actually think that those pitches don't work. One of the reasons I'll say that is I can remember people who perform, but I can't tell you what they do. I can't get how it connects to something I need. I often call this folks who are looking for applause and not action. I used to be guilty of this myself. I would go to networking events and I would feel all this pressure to sound like really cool and interesting. Because if you're not cool and interesting, no one's going to be interested in your business. So I would go around and say, I'm Annie Franceschi, I run Greatest Story Creative, and I'm a business storyteller. I help you tell your story in your business. And people will be like, wow, that's so interesting. And I get a lot of applause and reaction for it. But you know what I didn't get? Clients. And I'll tell you why. Because the context was missing. I wasn't being clear. I wasn't connecting what I was saying to what people actually do and need from me. I was afraid to use the boring words, so I went with the creative words. When we lead with creativity, we tend to confuse. One of my mentors, Kate Rosenau, she likes to say, confused people don't buy. This is true. And yet, so many people are caught up with making this super creative elevator pitch that doesn't even work. When I said I was a business storyteller, people didn't get that that meant that I was a branding consultant. They thought maybe I was a videographer or something. They didn't get what I do tied back to how I could help them. Now, when I get up in a room of people, I'll say something like, I'm Annie Franceschi. I'm a brand strategist with Greatest Story Creative. I help coaches and consultants get clear on their brand, offers, and systems. When I say something like that, yeah, it's boring, but you know who it talks to? The coaches and consultants who are stuck on how to brand themselves, what their offers are, how to streamline their systems. That's probably why you're listening to me talk right now, right? If I called this the business storytelling podcast, I might get completely the wrong audience. We have to lead with context or we're going to confuse. So, what is the right way to talk about this? I worked on it for many years, having written people's elevator pitches and brand voice guides. And what I realized is Mad Libs. If you've done Mad Libs as a kid, that was those notebooks where you would fill in an adjective, a noun, and then you would read back this silly story. Everybody could do a Mad Libs and it would turn into something great. So I said, can I create a formula to write an elevator pitch to present your key message so that your ideal clients don't miss you? So you don't end up with applause instead of action. I want to help you turn your elevator pitch into clients and opportunities. So I created the Brand Chips formula, CHIPS. This is an acronym, mnemonic, and a framework for you to define, get clear, and communicate the value of what you do, who it's for, and that context. It's not about having the most creative pitch. It's having the pitch that gets you ideal clients and better referrals. It's not just an elevator pitch formula. It's a brand positioning formula. I use brand chips with every single client to get clear on their messaging. It is foundational to getting clear on the business from your own perspective. The reason why I call it chips is that if you want to be a card in somebody's deck, If you want to be the person that like, you have that problem, you should talk to Kimberly, you should talk to Pamela. If you want to be a card in somebody's deck, you got to put all your chips on the table. You got to be clear on what it is you do, who it's for, how to work with you, what problem you really solve. If you can't articulate that for yourself, we got a problem. I'm going to talk to you about how to use chips to clarify your overall brand, what your company does, what is your brand positioning. In future episodes, I'll show you how to apply it to specific offers, and that's some of the work I do in my Package Your Process program. Today, I'm going to teach you the 5 components of chips and how you can use them. CHIP stands for category, hook, ideal client, problem, and solution. The first is your category, C. It's really important to define your category clearly. I think of being on the shelf at the library. Where do you belong? If you say, well, I'm a transformational coach, you're going to end up in the kids section with the Transformers. And I don't want you to be there. Your category is context. Even if it feels boring, it's essential for connection. If what you are is really a life coach or an executive coach, be on those shelves. Own it, be clear, or you're going to end up in the wrong section. H is for hook. The hook is about what you're most known for. I used to say, hi, I'm Annie. I'm a business storyteller who used to work for Disney. And people would be like, that's so cool. But they didn't work with me. And that's because I wasn't giving them the context of branding. So they thought I was this blogger or videographer. Your hook is in relationship with the category you're in. The context has to come before creativity. For me, my category is branding, and my hook is helping you clearly tell your story and package your expertise as a service. That's what I'm most known for, but you need to know that that's in the branding world. Helping you tell your story could be in a video, in a podcast, in a documentary. It could be in all kinds of different things. So they work hand in hand. I is for ideal clients. This is really about giving yourself a North Star. It is not about getting wildly specific. It's about groups that already group themselves in some way. I'm very careful to say coaches, consultants, and service business owners because you know who has associations and networking groups and networking events? Coaches, consultants, and service business owners. When you get up and say things like, well, I work with anyone who needs help, you're actually disqualifying yourself from opportunities and rooms that you want to be in. If you say you work with everybody, what most people hear is nobody. So this is not about setting things in stone. And in the context I use it, it's just about giving people a little bit of a suggestion or a hint as to what are good connections for you? What are rooms you should be speaking in? This kind of clarity that I have gets me in front of organizations like ICF, International Coach Federation, where I often speak, where I am a chapter sponsor. It helps me know where to be, and it also communicates to anyone you're doing your elevator pitch for what are the right rooms for you. P. P stands for problem. This is often where a lot of coaches and consultants don't even define this, but it's one of the biggest things to simplify your marketing. What is the biggest problem you solve for your ideal clients? What do your clients say is their challenge? This is not about what you think it is. It's about how they say what their problem is. The biggest problem I solve is when people are worried about how to talk about what they do and how to sell it as a service. It's really important when you nail down what the problem is, it helps you keep that top of mind in your elevator pitch. So when you have 30 seconds, 60 seconds in a big group of people, somebody may hear, oh, I have that problem, or I know someone who does. That's how we want this to work. Last but not least, in your brand chips is your solution. The solution ties directly back to the problem. This is where your business meets their problem. This is not about selling coffee cups, it's selling solutions. I'll give you a little sense of what this is like for me. My problem is worried about how to talk about what you do and how to sell it as a service. If that's your concern, as a former Disney storyteller and brand strategist of 11 plus years, I do consulting, done for you branding, speaking, and books to help you get clear on your message, package your offers, and streamline your systems so you can turn your current business into your greatest business. That is what I'm known for. And wouldn't you like to be able to be that clear? That is chips in action. So let me pull all this together for you so you can start to hear how all of this works. If you're not clear on what you do, how to talk about it, or how to sell it as a service, we should talk. I'm Annie Franceschi with Greatest Story Creative. In the world of branding, I'm known for helping you clearly tell your story and package your services. My ideal clients are typically coaches, consultants, and service business owners. And as a former Disney storyteller and brand strategist of 11 plus years, I provide consulting, done for you branding, speaking, and books to help you get clear on your message, package your offers, and streamline systems so you can turn your current business into your greatest business. If this is speaking to you, let's connect. Annie Franceschi with Greatest Story Creative. Did you hear them? Chips. Chips is your category, hook, ideal clients, problem, and solution. This is the framework I use with every single one of my clients that I need to come up with how to brand their business, how to brand their offers, how to help them reposition and talk about what they do, and yes, write their elevator pitches. If you want to stop confusing people and start getting more referrals, join me for my free live Zoom workshop, Elevator Pitch Hour. It's happening soon on Wednesday, March 12th, and I hope you'll join us because at the end of an hour together, you're going to walk away with clarity on what your brand chips are, an elevator pitch, and for those who can join us live, even a bonus script to use it in your emails and so much more. It's time that you were able to stand up in a room full of people and felt clear, confident, and ready to talk about what you do. If you're down for that, be sure to check out Elevator Pitch Hour here in the show notes and at greateststorycreative.com. Sign up while seats are still available. Love to see you there. Hey, do you like surprises? Here comes the show's credits, but just like a Marvel movie, stay to the end so you don't miss something fun I put in just for you. Thanks for tuning in to the Establish Yourself podcast. I'm Annie Franceschi, and I want to hear from you. Follow me on LinkedIn. Share your favorite takeaway from today's episode as a comment on my latest post. Mention your favorite Muppet in your message so I know you're a fan of the show. And for expert branding help, a free consultation, and more resources, visit greateststorycreative.com/podcast. Now, here it is, your moment of magic. You know who's really good at networking? Inigo Montoya, the character from The Princess Bride. He would go, "Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die." And I've seen people point out that he's actually a really good, clear networker because he will start with a polite greeting. He shares his name. He gives some sort of a relevant personal connection, and then he manages expectations. I mean, you can't ask for more than that.